One of my coworkers told me there's an issue with their headlights not coming on. So we're gonna take a closer look, see if we can troubleshoot and figure out what the problem might be. Before we get into it, if you need any car parts for your vehicle, make sure you click the link in the description, head over to 1aauto.com. Now let's get back to the headlights. First thing you want to do is make sure the key is in the on position or the vehicle is started. Some vehicles, the lights do not work unless the vehicle is running. So we'll do that and then turn the light switch on, see what we got. And we've got nothing. In the situation that you only have one light working, most likely it's just the bulb. But there is a possibility that both bulbs could be burnt out. It's unlikely, but it does happen. Both bulbs were manufactured at the same time and they get the same amount of use. So if you replaced one bulb, you'll notice within a couple weeks, the other one burns out just as fast. So it could just be both bulbs. Let's check those out. All right, there's the bulb. You want to see if the filament is broken. And that looks pretty good right there. I don't see any breaks in that. You could even wiggle it a little bit and see if it's moving, but it looks okay. It's important not to touch the glass with your fingers. You want to wear gloves and just try to keep away from that area. Otherwise, the bulb is going to burn out a lot faster. You also want to look at the terminals, see if you see any melted plastic in there, or make sure the terminals are actually still there where the plug goes in. All right, let's bench test the bulb. We have this hooked up to a jump pack. We have the black wire as our ground and the red wire as our power feed. Once I flip the switch on, let's give it a test. And there it is. All right, the bulb works, so that's not our issue. Back to the drawing board. Before we put the bulb back in, we want to take a good look at the connector, see if there's any green corrosion in there or even some melted terminals. This terminal looks okay. I don't see any evidence of corrosion or melting. Now this is an example of a bad terminal. If you look very quickly, you may not notice anything, but if you look carefully, you can see on this side that the terminal actually has melted. And that is not gonna make a good connection. That's gonna cause an issue with the light bulb. So we've checked out the bulb in the socket and that's all good. The next step, we wanna check out the fuses. Find the fuse box, pull the cover off, and then on the back, normally there's a key, so you wanna locate where those headlight fuses are. For this vehicle, these are the two headlight fuses. You have one for the left side and one for the right side. Now it's unlikely if both headlights are out that both fuses would be blown, but it's always a good idea to check. You can see inside that the fuse is not burnt, so most likely this fuse is good. You could always try and switch it with another one of the same amperage. This is a 20 amp fuse. You can check the other one. Pull that one out. Both of those fuses visually look good. What we can do is check the fuses with a test light. You just want to test the test light, make sure you have a good ground, make sure it's working properly. And on the back side of the fuses, there's a little area where you can touch the terminal so that you can see if there's power there. Now, if you get power on one side but not the other, then the fuse is not doing its job. It is blown and you just couldn't see that. In our case, we don't have power on either side. So what it should look like is this on both sides. So for our situation with not getting any power to the fuses, the next step would be to go look at the switch. Now we're gonna go over to the headlight switch, and what you wanna do is turn it on, see if it's doing anything. Listen, sometimes there's relays involved with the headlights and you may hear a relay clicking if you turn it on. We don't hear any relay with this one. I don't hear any clicking at all. Again, you should have the key on or the engine running. Nothing's going on. What you can do is give it a couple taps, give it a wiggle. There might be a loose connection in there. Another symptom of a faulty switch is the dash lights flickering. The dimmer switch goes through this. You have this little knob right here. You push this out and twist it. All vehicles are going to be a little bit different, but this is a pretty common problem. And for this particular vehicle, the dome light goes through this switch as well. So if you're having any trouble with any of those lights, this could be your issue. Now, some panels are pretty easy to remove. You just grab them and pull them out, and you can get to the back side of the headlight switch. And you want to check that connector, make sure that connector's not loose, give it a wiggle. The way that this switch actually works is sends a signal to a computer or the BCM, and that's what commands the headlights on. Some older vehicles may have ground going through them or power, which you could test with a test light. We don't have that option here. The best way to do this is to test it with a known good part. So we can disconnect this and then pop this out. And it slides right up. Take the new switch. Pop that in. Connect the connector. You can check it before we put it all back together. And the headlights are working great. So that was a quick and easy fix. If you need a headlight switch or headlights or any other car parts, make sure you get those at 1aauto.com. If you enjoyed our video, subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Are you okay? Are you okay? I can actually feel the heat coming from it. It's like the sun. Maybe you notice that they're flickering at night. At night? Yeah. Or during the day.
They're nocturnal, so they actually...
All right, here we go.